When I bought my first mirrorless camera to make YouTube videos in my bedroom during the pandemic, I soon realized that cameras can also take photographs. Little did I know that photography could transform a depressed introvert into someone who craves going outdoors, even being around people. During the pandemic, I was sent home to do my medical billing job remotely. And after 25 years of working in a crowded office with over 60 women, I was delighted. At first, it was an introvert's delight, being all alone and not having the noise of coworkers all around you. But it soon got really lonely. I did have the cats, but I did miss the camaraderie of my coworkers. Since I don't have a driver's license due to blindness and I am rather shy, going out to work was my main opportunity to socialize with people. And with that taken away, I really withdrew inside of myself, and I didn't really want to leave the house for any reason after a while. I decided a good substitute for social interaction would be to start a YouTube channel. I could film myself talking to the camera and upload it, and reading the comments would almost be like talking to real people. After starting my channel with an iPhone 6, I just wanted to give you a public service announcement in case you are visually impaired and you have received a letter from the IRS in a big, thick envelope. When I got this, it scared the hell out of me. I soon watched Think Media and realized I needed to get a mirrorless camera. And that decision really changed everything. When I was shopping for my first mirrorless camera, I was overwhelmed with choice. Watching YouTube camera reviews made matters worse. They were talking about specs I didn't even know the meaning of, and I never felt so ignorant in all my life.
The A7S III's H.264-based all-entry recording edits smoothly on my computer and is a viable alternative to transcoding or external recording, and it can be captured to a V90 SD card as long as you're not in that S&Q mode.
But then I came across a guy vlogging on the streets of Toronto, and I thought, wow, I could never do that. That's so brave to film yourself in public.
We expose like a dickhead with aperture, and now the background isn't blurred. I hate that.
He made me laugh for the first time in a long time, and I thought, whatever camera he's using, I'll get one like that. He was using the Lumix G85, and I was able to find a Lumix G95 at a good price. And when the box arrived, I realized I was completely out of my element. I wasn't even sure how to attach the kit lens. I had to watch a tutorial for that.
To install a lens, match the red dot on the lens with the red dot on the camera body. A half turn clockwise will seat the lens to the body.
At the time, I knew nothing about aperture or shutter speed, but when I turned the camera on and held it in my hand, this feeling of power washed over me. I wanted to create art. This little voice inside of me said, one day you'll film yourself in the crowded streets of Detroit and you won't be afraid. After a few weeks of using the Lumix G95 around the house in intelligent auto mode, making some YouTube videos and taking a few photos, my brother invited me to go to the local nature park. I hesitated to accept his offer because even though I was craving a change of scenery, I was anxious to be out in public. But stronger than that fear was my craving to take out my new camera and try it out in nature. As it turned out, the park was much less crowded than anticipated, and I actually built up the courage to film myself. And when I got home and reviewed the video clips and photos on my 27-inch monitor using my magnification software called ZoomText, I realized that this camera had allowed me to see details in nature that I just couldn't see in real time due to my blindness. After this revelation, I was eager to learn the settings on my camera. I watched hours of tutorials about the exposure triangle on YouTube, mainly from Tony and Chelsea Northrup, and I was actually eager for my next trip to a nature park to try out manual mode. I'll admit, the first few times trying out manual mode were a disaster. I quickly realized that I couldn't read the LCD screen out in the sunlight, even with my magnifier, so I did ask my brother to adjust some settings for me. Over time, I developed a system of selecting my settings before leaving and saving them in the camera. The more I took my camera out into nature, the better I felt, and I soon decided it was time to invest in my first telephoto lens. The gas was creeping in early. When I got the Lumix 100 to 300 millimeter lens and we went to Kensington Metro Park, I'll never forget going through my photos when I got home and seeing the face of a mourning dove in full detail. Because of my lack of detailed central vision, I had no idea how gorgeous a mourning dove's eyes are until I was able to magnify my photo on my screen. The more I got out to do photography, I noticed it wasn't only having a positive impact on my mental health, but also my physical health. While I used to get winded doing a 1-hour hike, now I was able to go for several hours, and it was a motivation of coming home and going through my photos that really kept me going. I soon incorporated a morning photo walk around the neighborhood. I used to be afraid of the squirrels in this neighborhood because they don't give you the right-of-way on the sidewalk, but soon I realized they're an adorable subject for portrait photography. Now that I was feeling less depressed and a little more comfortable using my camera in public, my next goal was to do photography and videography in a crowded place. One weekend, my brother suggested we go to Belle Isle in Detroit. Growing up in the suburbs of Detroit in the 90s, I was warned as a kid by many adults in my life to stay off of Belle Isle, that it was dangerous. My brother assured me that it's perfectly safe now that it's a state park. Stronger than any apprehensions I may have had was a desire to take out my camera. I'm so glad I didn't let fear stand in my way, because photographing the Detroit skyline with massive freighters coming in was a thrilling experience. After each excursion to a new place, I felt less and less social anxiety, and crowds were becoming less of an obstacle to photography and videography. When I went to the Detroit Riverwalk, I was surprised by my level of comfort in picking up my camera and deciding to film the people around me and do street photography. Before having a camera, I was terrified to be in a crowd. While I don't feel completely comfortable speaking to a camera in public like Casey from Camera Conspiracies, I no longer feel consumed with anxiety to be out in a crowd, which is a major improvement. Doing street photography has really made me realize that people aren't quite as frightening as I've made them out to be in my mind. After being bullied as a kid, I always assume everyone's out to make fun of me, but when I look through photos and videos of people out in the streets, I realize they're no different than me. They all have their hopes and dreams and insecurities. They're not much different. The completely unexpected benefit of doing photography is meeting new people. I've noticed that photographers at nature parks are eager to share helpful information as soon as they see your camera. On numerous occasions, I've been told where to find an eagle's nest or where an owl has been spotted. On one occasion, a young man had asked us to show him where we had last seen the great blue heron. When I started to share my photos with some photography groups online, I really started to feel a sense of community that I never had before. I eventually built up my confidence enough to travel to a new country, Canada. Photography has really helped me to focus my mind on something outside of myself. Instead of sitting in the house and dwelling on negative thoughts, it's taken me outside and really helped me to appreciate the beauty of God's creation. It's helped me to explore new places and meet people that I never thought I would. If you're feeling isolated and depressed, I would highly recommend taking up photography. It's really made a positive change in my life. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing for more camera-related content from a newbie like me. God bless.